Windmill Crusaders presents Raptor Hill Games, a podcast about prehistoria in board games.
Lately, it feels like we're all just dinosaurs trying to avoid the falling meteors. In this 2 to 4 player game, you'll try to dodge all of life's natural predatory and emotional disasters. You might fall into a pit of lava, get attacked by saber-toothed squirrels, or be ghosted by your own dino date. But the dino who survives it all wins the game. Smile. It's almost over. Happy little dinosaurs.
Oh, that's such a good back blurb to a game.
But what's better is the context that it came out when COVID was raging.
Oh yeah, and we all know how we felt at that point.
It
Oh,
was
boy.
precisely designed for the purpose of disaster and everything going wrong in the world, as we saw in COVID.
Oh yeah.
Reintroduction of ourselves! Hooray! I am Tyler Lukow, a student of paleontology, currently working at a museum, and a game designer for Windmill Crusaders.
I'm Thomas Lukow, amateur dinosaur enthusiast, and I'm also a designer.
And this is Raptor Hill Game.
Okay, so happy little dinosaurs. Where to start? I think. Well, obviously we start with the game overview.
Happy Little Dinosaurs is a game in which we are all faced with disasters. You choose your character. In the base game, it is between Stego, Bad Luck Bronto, a T-Rex, and...
Yeah, have you forgotten his name?
Where is it?
You're looking for the game
Let's see.
map?
Triceratops.
Triceratops.
That was it.
Yes.
Okay. Let's start this over. So, the game overview. In Happy Little Dinosaurs, you are trying to avoid various disasters of various types. You choose your character in the base game. This includes Triceratops, Nervous Rex, Stego, Bad Luck Bronto. In the 2 expansions that add new characters, you also have Rampaging Raptor, Moody Mosasaur, Easygoing Yankee, and Pterodactyl.
And I want to say the best name out of the lot by far, Triceratops. So good.
Yeah. My favorite character is Stego. He's just... He's got meteors showering around him, and he's just like, yeah, this is okay. He's smiling.
This is fine. It reminds me of the little guy from Terrible Lizards, if you remember that one.
Oh, yes.
Stegosaurus's bulk, bony plates, defensive spikes, and truly tiny brain ensure that he has very little to worry about.
A little animation about terrible dinosaurs.
Link in the notes or description or whatever.
Something like that. Funny animation. Check it out. Anyway, and your goal is to reach number 50 on your escape route on your personal character board. You do so as you face disasters of 3 or 4, and if you have an expansion, 5, 6-ish different types. You have natural disasters, such as this one, you're on fire. You're at a bar chatting up dinos, and you're on fire. Oh wait, you're literally on fire.
He looks so happy in that photo too.
Yes.
I love it.
This is a sauropod with wearing a suit, totally on fire, big smile on his face. You have emotional disasters, such as this one. Art class. You fall asleep in class and everyone draws on your face, including your teacher. Then there is the predatory disasters, such as, it's taking so long to draw one.
Why didn't you get them ready beforehand? You
I don't
silly
care.
Goose.
Coolest dino ever. You run into a dino who is so cool, you totally understand when they leave with your date. There's lore, as Matt Pat would say, behind that card. We'll explain it in another podcast sometime.
Oh yeah, there's too much here not to talk about, but
And then
not today.
you have the meteor, which isn't as funny, and it sort of counts as one of each type. Now, what happens when you play the game? First, you have these number and instant cards. Each player chooses a number card from your hand. Usually you want to play one with a higher number. Place it face down in front of you when everyone has chosen. You flip it over. Whoever has the highest number would receive points and move up that many points on their escape route. One with the lowest number adds the disaster to their disaster area. If you get 3 of the same type of disaster, or 1 of each type of disaster, predatory, emotional, and natural, you lose. You die. You're eliminated.
Good day, sir.
Good day, sir! But the lower number cards tends to have little bits and tricks. Not always, as evidenced by the Handypan, but the Dino Grabber, a number 1, lowest number, lets you look at another player's hand and steal one of those cards.
Also, the existence of a Dino Grabber in a dinosaur game where you are the dinosaurs is just so charming.
Yes. You also have instant cards, which can be played after the number cards are revealed, or sometimes at various points that add to your score, add to your opponent's score, or lower your opponent's score, swap scores, all kinds of little tricks and strategies you can play throughout this game. But once that's concluded, usually it'll be the person with the highest score gets points and moves along on their dino tracker. Then, whoever has the lowest adds the disaster card to their disaster area, and then everyone who has disaster cards in the area goes up a number of points equal to the number of disasters in their disaster area. The next thing you should know is that there is multiple expansions for the game. You have the Dating Disasters game, which adds new disasters and new item cards themed around love and dating. The Puberty Perils, which adds high school and puberty themed cards to those. The 5 to 6 player expansion, the basic one, that adds the Rampaging Raptor and the Pterosaur. And then the Hazards Ahead 5 to 6 player expansion, which adds the Mosasaur and the Easygoing Anki, as well as new mechanics of 2 different kinds. First, you have 2 new disaster types. Coming in hot, a new type of meteor card that lets you add a hazard token to another player's escape route, something that we'll explain in a moment. And the Lucky Day cards, a new type of disaster that you do not add to your disaster area, but you want to get this one, as it will actually give you benefits and help you for future rounds. The primary mechanic of Hazards Ahead is these little hazard tokens. They get added to your disaster area based on various disasters, and occasionally items will have you add a disaster card to your opponent's areas. It's added to your escape route, and when you come across one of these, you draw from a new deck of cards in this expansion called the Hazards deck. Add the hazard to your disaster area, such as this Slippery Slope, which then has a consistent and negative effect on you for the rest of the game. First person to 50 wins. I've had some close games, and I've had some not so close games.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about the art here, because there's a lot to love about this art, but also, we've got to do an accuracy review. We always do, or at least
always.
Stop! Hey, overdoing it.
Anyway, the art, it has to be noted, is not meant to be accurate. It is taking a lot of artistic liberty. If you were to try to judge this based on accuracy, it would get a 0.
Yeah,
because dinosaurs don't have flat faces.
Accuracy is what's that?
But
what is paleontology?
It is worth noting there is occasional mention of feathers, so it recognizes that in science, as well as the concept of fossilization. That's about it. Other than that, it is simple, cutesy art style.
Very stylized.
It's a fun art style that's fun, works really well for the game, so even though it's not accurate at all, it is fun and it is great for the game. Good art, nice. Tea Turtle, if you know the brand Tea Turtle, is very reminiscent. In fact, I think they're the ones who did the art of that style.
Just super duper well done and just such personality in this game. I love it.
Yes.
I can't even express to you how much I adore this art.
Oh, it's also worth noting that the game is by Unstable Games, same creators behind
Unstable Unicorns?
Unstable Unicorns.
Well, yeah, same guys. Certainly one of the game companies of all time.
They've got a lot of games that are fun, unique art styles, and good mix of dark humor, but also light-hearted themes.
And so it really shouldn't come as a surprise that it's these guys, because, these guys.
Yes. So, what do you think of the game, Thomas?
Well, I mean, it's been a while since I played it, but there's just so much to love about this game. You could definitely bring it to any board game meet, and it would be more than welcome.
I can say from experience, I have brought it to Board Game Meet and had it be the first one played multiple times.
I want to give it a 4, but there is one thing that irks me, and that is the elimination. I do not like elimination mechanics. I feel like they are inherently unfun in the way of, oh boy, because I was eliminated, now I get to just sit here until the next game starts. Yippee yippee. It's really my only gripe with this game. So I'm gonna give it a 3.
I do think that it is a really fun game and absolutely matches that theme of we're all trying to avoid disasters desperately. And I do think the game would not work without the elimination, personally. I think most games don't do well with elimination. This one is good because it's a constant threat, but I haven't actually had anyone get eliminated from the game as I've played.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's easy enough to avoid most of the time, and there is cards to help you avoid that, such as some ability cards that, if you would add a disaster to your area, you put it back in the deck instead. Or even some that remove disasters from your area. And so it's easy enough to avoid elimination that it's a rare case, and I think most of the time it just works as a pressing threat to help with the theme of the game, rather than...
and also force you to shift priorities now and
yes,
again.
well, you could hypothetically win by being the last one standing. That would be really difficult, especially the more players you have, and it's generally going to be a better strategy to just try to get the 50 points and win that way.
So your overall rating. Oh, didn't you want to say something about the rules?
Oh, yes. I did want to say something about the rules. I found in the read-throughs and plays I've done with the base game, the rules are a little less clear in some spots as they could be. While it's not and so this does affect my personal rating of the game. It takes a little bit sometimes to navigate the rules and find exactly what you're looking for. It's sometimes unclear as to what section it should fall under, and what the rule is can be a little hard to explain. For example, first 2 times I played the game, I didn't realize it, but I was playing it wrong. Character cards is also worth noting, and this is an example of how I played it wrong. Each character card has an ability, so each character is a little different from each other. Stego gets a +1 to his score when the disaster is a meteor, whereas Bad Luck Bronto gets a +1 against natural disasters and a -1 to the score against predatory disasters. And that makes sense, but when you're reading the rules, it in some ways makes it sound like instead of getting a +1 to your score, you're getting a +1 when you move on your tracker when you have those disasters in your area. And that is how I initially thought it was played before reading the instructions and having to clarify that. So the instructions could be better. I'm going to give it a 3.22222
Okay. That's a bit random.
out of 5.
Okay.
Dinosaurs.
So you're rating it a little bit higher. I notice you're rating it a bit lower than you did Raptor. That's interesting.
For me, again, it's the instructions. A big part of playing any game, you have to have clear instructions. It is a fun game, though. Again, I've played it several times.
Because, I mean, if I were to choose, I would say that this is the better game than Raptor.
It is certainly more players. Raptor, we didn't mention, is a 2-player only game. And it does have more players, and I do consider 3.5. In fact, I might still, if I were to be asked another day, I might change my mind. Right now, the instructions are unclear enough on things that I would say it's a 3.2 something. Little lower. Still a good enough game, though.
Okay. All right.
Well, and a lot of fun, hilarious, and it has some lore that we'll talk about another day.
oh, yes. There is lore here.
Find out the dating life of T-Rex and Stego.
All right. Well, I think
and how
that
one became a monster.
All right. Well, I think that you're not going to interrupt me? Okay, I think that does it for today. You quit it.
Bye!
Bye.
For more information on the Raptor Hills podcast or Windmill Crusaders, please see our website in the description or show notes below. Thank you for listening.